Hello everyone, I am Renown Zero and we're back again talking about Daniel Radcliffe, who decides to host a roundtable promoting child mutilation in his discussion about trans kids. Those, again, something that does not exist. Trans kids don't exist. I'm going to jump right into this article from Bounding into Comics here. Harry Potter franchise star Daniel Radcliffe promotes child mutilation by hosting roundtable discussion with trans kids, quote unquote. Oops. The push to mutilate children in the name of being an ally to the alphabet movement has taken a dark turn over the last few months, and it just got darker thanks to a celebrity endorsement from Harry Potter franchise star Daniel Radcliffe. The same Daniel Radcliffe that should be thanking J.K. Rowling for making his career. Literally should be on his knees thanking J.K. Rowling for building his career as Harry Potter. Radcliffe, who portrayed the titular boy wizard in the film series, recently appeared as a guest host of the first episode of Sharing Space, a new web series produced by the Alphabet self-harm prevention charity, the Trevor Project, which features roundtable-style conversations with Alphabet youth, which is weird. That's really weird, man. Moderated by curious, open-minded adults and allies. Yeah, a bunch of groomers, essentially. This week, I was incredibly fortunate to get to meet 6 young people who agreed to come and share their stories with us and also have a conversation about allyship and the people in their lives who have shown up for them and made a positive impact on them and their journeys. Yes. People like teachers who have groomed them to believe that they are someone that they are not, said Radcliffe before delving into a general discussion with his guests about their experiences as transgender individuals. At one point during said discussion, Radcliffe invited his guests to offer their thoughts on the topic of childhood transgenderism, asserting, quote, "I'd love to hear from all of you about why we can trust kids to tell us who they are." You cannot trust kids to tell you who they are when they can't even decide what breakfast cereal they want to eat, what clothes they want to wear, what toys they want to play with. Children cannot consent to your weirdo ideology. Quote, "I don't understand why I can't just decide that I'm a girl." Because you're not a girl. Argue one guest named Daly. If it's a big decision to decide I'm a girl, then it's a big decision to decide I'm a boy. It's the same thing. There's no age. You don't have to be 18 to decide that. Oh, I am who I am. No, you have to be 18 legally in the United States to decide any adult type of things like that. I think we don't give children enough credit for coming into this world and having a sense of purity and understanding for themselves. Yes, and we want their minds to remain pure and let them be kids. Not to have you weirdos with your groomer ideology nonsense trying to influence and warp their minds. To confuse them and make them believe that they are something that they're not. Added another guest going by the moniker Deity the Y. Essentially a weirdo because you think you can be a they when you're only a singular person. As the episode drew to a close, Radcliffe asked, quote, "For people who are watching this video who are cis and straight, get rid of the cis, bro. No one is cis. We're hetero. And maybe don't know a trans person in their life, or maybe do. What would be something that you would want to share with them about either something that you didn't have that you wish you had, or something that somebody did or said with you?" To which his guest resoundingly answered, "Kindness." I would share with them where to seek help for their mental illness. Not encourage the nonsense of them thinking that they're in the wrong body. I feel like kindness is free, and you hear that all the time. Respect, it's something you should do regardless of how someone identifies or what they look like. No. Respect is earned, not given. You have to earn respect. You don't just get respect. Sorry, that's just the way life works. Opine guest Mattia Lewis, who was another guy who just put pronouns there because you definitely can't tell you're a dude. You don't even have to know someone's pronouns or know someone's name to know that this is a living, breathing human being and they deserve to be living and breathing, of course. But you don't get to decide what kids learn at that age. You don't get to decide that you're gonna fill their head with garbage about gender identity and sexual orientation. You don't get to decide that their heads get to be filled with that garbage because they're children. And even if I might not agree or understand who they are, I'm going to respect them and I'm going to be kind just today. And a little bit of kindness can make someone's day exponentially better, and it doesn't cost you anything. Once again, respect is earned, not given. In a statement released ahead of the series premiere, Radcliffe said of his guest appearance, "We listen to so many people talk about trans youth, no such thing, and hear them talk about how so often in the news, but very rarely do we actually hear from these youth directly because they don't exist. They're called groomed children." Quote, "It was an absolute privilege to get to meet and listen to this incredible group of young people," the actor asserted. "At the end of the day, if you're going to talk about trans kids, that doesn't exist. It might be useful to actually listen to trans kids. Again, doesn't exist. Stop pushing the nonsense about trans kids that don't exist." It appears that with this video, the Trevor Project has joined vocal alphabet activists making the argument that children as young as preschool age are mature enough to make their own decisions. No, they're not. The same one child predators to justify their lust for children because they're psychopaths and should be in prison regarding their sexuality and gender identity, particularly when it comes to being trans. As such, the current activist through line calls for good allies to promote full-on gender transitions for children under the guise of allowing young individuals who identify as trans, which is, again, something that's taught to them, to permanently mutilate their bodies as a way to save them from the torture of living as the gender they were born as. Yeah, the gender they were born as is the gender they were meant to be. Point blank, period, there's no argument. Notably, the Trevor Project was in hot water just last year for teaming with Sam Brinton, the cross-dressing non-binary, now former Deputy Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Department of Energy, who was fired last year after his habit of stealing women's airline luggage, finally caught up to him. So again, a psychopath. To develop a new model school district policy on self-deletion prevention, which advocates for school districts to withhold key mental health information about self-deletion children, in particular anything related to gender transitions or sexual orientation from their parents. So essentially being groomers without letting the parents know you're grooming their kids. This is the face of a psychopath. When a parent is notified of perceived self-deletion risk or an attempt to, is it essential that the school maintain student confidentiality related to personal information, such as sexual orientation or gender identity, especially when the student has not already disclosed to the parent or guardian does not want it shared? You're weirdos for trying to keep information, trying to teach the kids these things, and not telling the parents what you're teaching their children. Psychopaths. Reads the new model, which has since been adopted by a number of schools nationwide. Information shared should be restricted to the perceived risk of self-deletion or facts of the attempt. So essentially keep away the fact that their child tried to self-delete themselves. Ethically and legally, mental health professionals are required to report risk to self and others. Disclosing a student's sexual orientation or gender identity without their explicit consent can in some cases endanger the student, and at a minimum will impair the rapport developed with the professional. This guy looks like a serious psychopath. Ugh, ugly. The model further advises that through discussion with the student, the principal or school-employed mental health professional will assess whether there is further risk of harm due to parent or guardian notification. Once again, they are not your children, you weirdos. You don't get the right to talk to children about these types of topics. If the principal designee, or mental health professional believes in their professional capacity, in my opinion, these people are just hacks, that contacting the parent or guardian would endanger the health or well-being of the student, they may delay such contact as appropriate. Consultation with other mental health professionals recommended before taking such an action. Again, weirdos. It continues. If contact is delayed, the reasons for the delay should be documented. Legally, the parent should not be contacted. CPS should be notified of abuse or neglect. So essentially, it's suspected. So essentially, if you don't agree that your child is supposedly trans, it's child abuse. No, it's child abuse that you fuckers think it's okay that you can put this garbage in kids' heads. Stay away from children. Stay away from children. It's disgusting. Radcliffe's partnership with the Trevor Project endeavor comes as little surprise considering how in 2020, the actor threw the only person that made him successful, J.K. Rowling, under the bus after she refused to play along with the attempt by progressives to erase the term woman in favor of people who menstruate. Men do not menstruate. Only women menstruate. They do not have uteruses. They do not have the same private parts that a woman has. If you have a penis, you are a male. Point blank, period. Transgender women are women. The actor asserted in a statement published by the Trevor Project. Trans women are men. They are biological men. Stop the cap. Any statement to the contrary erases the identity and dignity of transgender people. No, it doesn't. And goes against all advice given by professional health care associations, which in my opinion, they're groomers and pedos. and pedo adjacent, who have far more expertise on the subject matter than either J.K. Rowling or I know. J.K. Rowling has at least a brain on her shoulder, considering that she made Your Bitch Ass popular. She has a multi-billion-dollar franchise, and she understands that biology is real. Transgender women are men, transgender men are women. That's why you have the trans there to differentiate the two. You cannot change who you are biologically. Women, trans women or biological men should not be competing with women in the sports. They should not be in women's locker rooms. And they should not. You should just no. Just keep them out of women's sports. If you want to make a separate league, go ahead. But keep them out of women's locker rooms and keep the biological men out of women's sports. Point blank period. They are not women. They are men. You guys are weirdos. You will always be called weirdos. You will always be mocked and shamed for the idiocy and the nonsense that you're spewing to children that are not yours. And even if they were yours, it's still weird. It's still psychopathic. And this needs to stop. Now. Should never be talked about ever again. Shouldn't have to be talked about at all. Thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all new subscribers, return subscribers, old viewers, new viewers. Y'all all appreciate it. If you liked the video, hit the like button, comment below what you feel about all this. Subscribe for more content, hit the bell for notifications, set it to all that we get notifications anytime I post a new video, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace.